that haven't been touched on. Now, there are several mothers in Kavango regions, that is both Kavango East and Kavango West, who have accused the Rundu Magistrates Court officials of delaying paying out children's maintenance money. That is, the mothers are actually saying sometimes they go to the courts and they are being told, look, you don't have to give us too much things to worry about here, too many things to worry about here, because the money that you are getting is little money and it's not worth your worry, or neither is it worth our worry. So they are actually saying that some of them had to go to their kids' schools to say, we are still waiting for the maintenance money to come through so that we can buy stationery and do all the other things that the school might require them to do. It's a sad situation because you are a mother and the man with whom you had a kid with is paying. All these other times we were talking about men not paying, but this time we are talking about men paying, but the courts somehow being sluggish in giving the beneficiaries the money. I don't know what is happening. If there is red tape, then something must be done. Why not just maybe banks can also do just check if the father sends the money into a bank account, then the court must receive just a receipt to say the man has paid. Instead of making these mothers wait the way they are waiting, they have waited to be loved, right? And most probably they were alone when they gave birth, and the man had already left, kicked dust. Now they have to wait for money that their kids must get from their fathers. It's a painful thing because, like a cigarette, you are stuck between dirty teeth on one end, and on the other end you are burning. That's how I look at it. So that story, you can get it if you can subscribe for free. You can send your number to our WhatsApp number 0812004144, 0812004144, and we can add you onto that list. And of course, we are working through the numbers that we are getting. It might take a little longer though, but we will eventually get it done. And again, from Kavango, there are Mine Workers Union. These are ex-members who, through the Mine Workers Union of Namibia, they invested money in NAMIC. Now, they say that according to the story, they were informed that the money they had invested in NAMIC, they are going to be paid. The NAMIC is going to pay out 500 million. Of course, there are subsidiaries of NAMIC that are supposed to pay out this money because it has matured. So they are now claiming that instead of them being paid out, getting the money, now the leaders went on to form another investment company and then took the money that was supposed to be paid out to this investment company without consulting them. So they are up in arms saying this should never have happened. This is our money and we were promised that the money would be paid out, but the money hasn't been paid out. So again, we've got an issue of greedy, if this is true, because some of them are dead now and some of them are not working for the mines. And when you are a pensioner, the life gets a little bit tougher because you need to have cash. Now, the thing with most of us, when you retire, there's no cash. You might have a house, you might have a car, you might have livestock, which of course you can sell off and then convert them into cash. But there's no cash that will be coming your way. Now, when inflation hits, like inflation is hitting right now, and the price of goods is going up, it's terrible. So they are saying we need to be paid out. It's 500 million. And if this is true, it's 500 million, which is a lot of money. So the most painful thing is that they are saying the money that they were supposed to get has been used to kick off another company. And the leaders who were telling them about this money are also board members of the new company. So they are eating, they are enjoying, and these others, they are stuck up where they were stuck up. All right, 11 minutes past 7. And if you are joining me now, this is Unpacking the Day. We look at the headlines within, beneath, beyond, without, behind, left, center, right. And of course, we try as much as possible to make sense of most of the stories that you might come across today. That is if you choose to go and buy copies of your newspapers, or that is if you choose to subscribe for the e-villager. It's free, by the way, 7 days a week. You can send your number 0812004144, 0812004144. Now we've got a mentality of saying if something is cheap, therefore it's not worth anything. You are mistaken this time. You are listening to Eagle FM right now. You are only paying MTC or Paratus or Telecom to listen to us. You are not paying us anything, are you? But we are not cheap. We are free. We are coming to you free. But are we cheap? Same with the villager. So don't make that mistake of thinking that since it's free, it is cheap. Because some of the things are given value because of the price that is attached to them. Like cars, for example, a Bentley. A Bentley is a valuable car because of the cost. So those who manufacture Bentleys, they know you need to keep it to a small group and the car becomes valuable. Once a Bentley becomes a taxi, like the Dag Botswanas, it loses value. So value means it has to be costly. So that you, Tom, Harry, Dick, and whoever, you won't be able to afford it. Now, there is a story that uplifted my spirits this morning. Most people, when they are born with a condition, I'm not going to talk about a disability, a condition, they feel bad about it. You didn't choose to have that condition. It wasn't your choice. And most of the times we don't choose, right, to look the way we look. Neither do we choose to belong to the parents we belong to. We also don't choose to be born in places where we are born in. Now, the worst thing that happens is when your condition takes charge of you and it defeats you in the end. When your condition takes away the hope, right, you become hopeless. And all what you see is bleakness. That's terrible. Now, I'm talking about a girl here from Oshinene, right? And this girl, she's 7 years old. She was born with a condition called congenital malformation that deforms the lower part, the legs. Like they become either they are so bent that you can't stretch them. She was born with that condition, and most of the times she has to crawl. She can't stand up upright, or neither can she walk. But you see, even in her condition, that she knows she has a problem with her feet, legs, but the girl dreams of walking one day. But look, she doesn't only dream of walking one day, she also dreams of being one of Namibia's fastest sprinters. Can you imagine that? So that's hope, right? You have got an objective, a target. So your eyes, they are focused. Now, conditions like this, who knows what the spirits can do? She might one day wake up and then she's standing on her feet. It's a strong will. Most of the things that hamper us from doing things are psychological. We keep away from doing things because of our mentality, fear of doing things. The idea that this is too big for me, I can't do it. But she says she wants to walk, and right now she can't walk, she crawls. Now she's saying, I'm not going to end up by walking, but I will run and become one of Namibia's fastest sprinters. Right? She's 7. And she is from Oshinene, that is Omaheke region. It's a beautiful story, this one. It actually says that she doesn't just dream of walking, she wants to run. And this is a direct quote that says, "My biggest dream is to run and run very fast. I'm confident of winning because I beat some children in the street when we are playing." She's doing it. So why can't you do it? They did it. Why can't we did it as well? That's it. So it's a heartwarming story. One where if you are down this morning, or if you feel that life is treating you unfairly this morning, and if you feel that your pockets are empty this morning, and if you feel that your tummy is empty this morning, the next thing that you must do, tell yourself that you will get a meal. You will eat, and you will eat. Tell yourself that, well, you will find that peace job you are looking for, and you end up with some money. Who knows? You set your mind onto what you want, and nature will give you what you want. It's up to you. It's up to you as to how strong your mental capacity is. So don't give up. All right. The Ndaroloka, the issue of COVID, it's something. It's like a game. It's a game that keeps on changing, right? Right now, I was watching the news this morning, and they are saying if you are aged above 60, the Pfizer vaccine, you need to get a 4th booster, right? And then you get another one. Now, I'm sitting here and saying, if these guys know what they are doing, why can't they come up with one vaccine that will deal with everything without, like, you are changing goalposts, moving from this goalpost. Now I am running with the ball, I want to score, and the next thing that I know, the goalposts are behind where I'm coming from. But it's not only that. Now we are not yet done, right, with EU. You remember we never spoke so much about this strain of COVID-19 called IHU, right? It was first identified in France, and it was named EU because it was first identified at the EU Mediterranean Infection Institute of Marseille. So they called it EU. It's a strain that has been contested. Some experts say it's not a variant, just like we have got Omicron. And this is why it hasn't been spoken about so much, right? It's like they are hiding it because it was detected in France. They are hiding it, and they are saying EU is there, but look, it's not so much like the same thing that they didn't do with Omicron. Omicron became a big issue, a world headline story, and borders were closed. Now, where are we? We are here. Now, while we are not yet done, because IHU is also known as B16402. I don't know where they get these figures and numbers. It's also known as the B16402 strain. That is according to the World Health Organization. And can you imagine this? Most of the stories, they say that it was identified in France. And the World Health Organization says EU may be of Cameroonian origin. EU is Cameroonian, but it was identified in France. So these connections that are made. Imagine if the Cameroonians had come up to say, yay, we got a new COVID-19 variant. I bet you the borders would have been closed in a scramble. People wouldn't have wasted time. In a scramble, the borders are closed, and you are banned and restrictions and everything else, you can't move. But because there's the French connection, and I'm saying this without fear, because there's the French connection, they can't close the borders. Because why? And even us on this continent here, we can't close the borders because we want investors to come. We want them. But let me share with you, because there's another funny little story that made me angry. That Namibia is not going to ask for PCR test from tourists who are vaccinated. I'm like, what? So that's it. So there is now. The story here is not about EU, and I know we didn't on this program here talk about EU in detail, but the story, there is now what they call the Omicron subvariant. This is why I am saying every time the goalposts are being changed, something new will come that will require either a new COVID-19 pill in addition to the vaccinations. So why can't, if they know what this is, why can't they come up with one big vaccine that can deal with it once and for all? Why can't they do that? So the BA2 lineage, it's actually called the Omicron subvariant. So that means we've got Omicron. So Omicron has got this thicker one that is saying, I'm not going to die. I want to stand up on my own and compete with you, my mother, Omicron. They call it the BA2. Now, it hasn't been designated as a variant of concern, but countries have to be alert to the latest development as scientists ramp up surveillance. And for BA2, mark my words, you will be told the available vaccines are not enough to contain it. And then you get another booster. That's how it works. Booster after booster after booster. It's money, 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 money. I'm not saying the vaccines are bad or wrong. Neither am I saying COVID-19 is not there. No. All what I am saying is the confusion. You will be told, mark my words. We were being told Omicron will evade your immune system, like a torn goalpost net. You kick the ball and then instead of the net holding the ball goes through the hole in the net. That is what they were saying. In my own words, rather. Now the BA2, mark my words, you will be told the available vaccines are not strong enough to contain it. They will. Now they are actually saying the BA2, an infectious subvariant of Omicron, has been found in a substantial fraction in India, as the COVID-19 peak is likely to come in the next fortnight. Scientists are keeping a close watch on a recently discovered subvariant. This is the one that I was talking about up there. Now, the UK Health Security Agency identified over 400 cases in Britain in the first 10 days of this month. And they indicated the latest variant has been detected in some 40 other countries, accounting for a majority of most recent cases in some nations, including India, Denmark, and Sweden. And here we are still saying, it's Omicron, it's Omicron. Now, you can't tell whether it's Delta, because there's also something like Delta Cron. So you can't tell whether it's Omicron. Now, we won't be able to tell whether it's the BA2. And the BA2 doesn't have a name, just like Omicron and all these other names that they come up with. It doesn't have that name yet. But we are being told it's being detected in more than 40 countries. And now it is accounting for the majority of most cases that have been reported recently in India, Denmark, and Sweden. Oh, no. This year, and it seems as if the past 2 years we never learned anything. And the lessons continue. Only that, the lessons do not end. Because there is always an addition. And that addition is costly. Because, look, poor countries will not be able to buy this. We are already struggling with our education. We are struggling with a lot of things. Now we need to beg for vaccines. We will have to beg for vaccines. This is exactly why they are saying that those countries that are poor, there is a story here. They are saying poor nations will have to receive generic COVID-19 pills. Generic means it's not the original. It's something that was made from something. So they have got those pills that I spoke about earlier on, right? They have them. They are not for us. You are going to get, because here they say there are almost 30 generic drug makers in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, and they will make cheap versions of Merck and Company's COVID-19 pill under a landmark United Nations backed deal to give poorer nations wider access to a drug seen as a weapon in fighting the pandemic. So you are not going to get the real deal. You will get a poorer version because you are poor. It pains. It pains like you are poor. And so you are going to get what? Something cheaper. And how do we know that this something cheaper? What is it that they are going to take out from the original that will make it cheaper? And if they take out what makes this thing expensive, they take that out, how safe would it be for us here? Because you are just poor. You are a beggar. Beggars have no choice. You can't choose. So you get the portion that is suitable for you. Yours is when you die, you inherit heaven. You inherit heaven. So blessed are the meek, the humble, the poor. Theirs is heaven. So who owns the earth? Who owns the earth? Not us. So here we are. Here we are. And I'm looking at this. Do not misquote me. I'm not saying COVID isn't there. It is there. I've seen people dying. I've seen people falling sick. I've seen people recovering and coming back to tell their stories. Painful stories, that is. I've seen that. But that shouldn't make us stop questioning some of the things that are not clear. We shouldn't stop questioning. BA2 now is here. And we don't know whether it's in Namibia. I don't know. And very soon you will be told, no. So, Pfizer, Moderna, these ones, they can't. And I will tell you, if there is any vaccine that is going to be spoken about as one that will defeat BA2, it will be Pfizer. They will come up and say, Pfizer is updated. And then we are like, yes, Pfizer is updated. And President Agege will call a press statement. Is it the fourth one? 40th one or 41st one to talk about it? And we are like, guys, honestly, are we serious? Let us call a press conference like every month to talk about what we are doing with informal settlements. Every month to talk about what we are doing with water, with potholes, joblessness, not COVID. We've heard enough of that because nothing has changed. Apart from piling fear after fear after fear after fear, nothing has changed. So why not include other issues here? We talk about the youth. We talk about women. We talk about gender. Why can't we have that? So that we don't have Kalumbi Shangula alone, like a voice in the wilderness. And all the other ministers will go there. Honestly speaking, they go there just to be seen as attending something happening at State House. They are blank. They don't contribute anything. Only Kalumbi Shangula. Most of them, it's just going to State House. The president must see me. Remember that the president is the appointing authority. So if you don't appear at State House quite often, you will be checked out. So it's like, mark my register. Did you see me? Yes, I was there. And where are the rest? I've never seen the labor minister at the State House during a COVID-19 press conference. If he attended, he never said anything. For all what we know, COVID-19 has affected workers badly. Companies as well. Where is he? Well, he knows he's sorted maybe. He doesn't need the president to see him there. But those who are not sorted. Now, have you seen this? Those who were appointed by the president and not those who didn't go through the SWAPO, it's what the port, SWAPO port. They are the ones who ran to State House. Check it out. I'm not lying. But those who were elected, they are really there. Only the appointed ones. They go. Those why? They are on a ticket. They can't stand on their own. They need the president. But I am digressing here. The issue that I'm talking about is the changing of goalpost when it comes to COVID-19. We know it's a virus that we don't know how it came about, but honestly, people, they seem to be playing with people's minds. COVID-19 is there. You go and get vaccinated if you want. If the pill comes, go and get the pill. And even this cheaper version, go and we are swallowing cheaper versions here, generic tablets, and you don't even bother to check whether it's the one from the main manufacturer or it's from India. We swallow them as long as they are cheaper and affordable. If you go into a shop and you say, I'm coughing, I want cough medicine, the first thing a pharmacist does is to give you the most expensive one. You look at the price and no, can I get something cheaper? And then they will go back and say, well, we've got this one, it's similar, they work the same. You are like, So if they work the same, why is the price not the same? They work the same. They work the same how? Yeah. All right, now the story that I was talking about here. Can you imagine that we are talking about BA1, that is the Omicron sub-variant, BA1, a lineage. Now, and we are talking about that variant being available in 40 countries, walking like a shadow, like a shadow. But Namibia says they are not going to require foreign visitors to present negative PCR tests before being allowed to enter the country. Honestly speaking, the Namibia's indexed COVID-19 case, tourists, those two guys, men and women, tourists, and they stayed up here. And when I was coming there were two police cars parked on the side. I was like, what's happening here? Suicide or whatever. Only to learn later that the people who were staying at a lodge there, that was Namibia's indexed case. Two of them. And the third one was a German who was admitted at Pohamba Hospital there. And he ended up at Windhoek Central Hospital, and a whole ward was closed off. And this is why Dr. Kalumbi Shangura in the early days would emphasize the fact that no community infection. And we became so comfortable to hear him saying all of the cases, no community infection, until the infection wandered into the communities and he stopped it. Now, we appear to be doing the same mistake here. We are desperate for money. There's BA2. No one knows what BA2 can do. And we are saying, tourists, they are actually saying there's no logical reason to continue requiring foreign visitors to present negative PCR test before being allowed to enter the country. Are you serious, guys? Are you serious? Look, we know that I'm not quite sure. Look, don't mistake me to say I'm against vaccines. Don't. All what I'm saying is, I don't know. Just like you don't know. If anyone stands up to claim that they know, you don't know that the vaccinated don't pass on the vaccine to the unvaccinated. You don't know that. Give us proof. You don't know it. And I was searching for all the studies here. They are not available. So we are operating in the darkness. All of us. The so-called experts, the doctors, we are just as blank. We are just as blank as the winter sky. There's no cloud anyway, and we pretend to know. So this thing here of saying these tourists are vaccinated, so they must be allowed in. Why? What if they are bringing a new variant, right? That doesn't care whether you are vaccinated or you are not. It reaches out for you. What if that is the case here? We must be cautious all the times. We want money, yes, but we must be cautious all the times. But here we are. All right, and the churches, they don't want to be left behind, those ones. But the biggest issue that I have with the churches, from the beginning they were standing on the fence. They wanted to see where the wind was going, because they didn't want to be found on the wrong side. Now 2 years later, they are saying here, mandatory vaccination unconstitutional. Ha! Are you serious? It is a good thing that they are coming up to raise these issues here. But there are so many issues where we need religious leaders to step up. You won't find them. They won't step up anyway. They are nowhere to be seen. And we covered this story here in our e-villager for Saturday, where they were saying, look, no mandatory, it's unconstitutional. Well, that issue is debatable. That issue is debatable, and it's not clear, because it's a good thing now that they are not talking about 666, the mark of the devil. In the beginning, some of them would rattle on. It's 666, COVID-19 is 666. It has come to, some of those things. You can't attach religion to everything. Some of the things do not require religion. Common sense. So for a long time, churches kept their common senses to themselves because they wanted to be seen to be right. So they've heard a lot of people here talking, vaccination is unconstitutional. We've heard this coming a long way now, and they kept quiet. They are coming 2 years later. But well done, guys. Better late than never. Well done. What can we say? All right, let me move on to another story, the Trans-Namib one. From derailments. You see, the issue of Trans-Namib, from where I'm sitting, it's a very simple matter. I don't know why people pretend not to know what the problem is. You don't know what the problem is at Trans-Namib, unless you want to lie to me. It's a simple matter, right? It's actually coming a long way. Historical, right? Trans-Namib have had most of the incompetent bosses ever, right? That is one. And it has had some of the most corrupt bosses ever. That is two. And the Trans-Namib, I don't want to mince my words here, is being run. No, it's running on its own, right? Just like those runaway coaches, those trains that will decide to just take off. There's no driver, there's no one, because the rail is empty. So they will decide, no, I've been standing here for quite some time, so I'm going. So they roll. There's no one controlling. The result is they derail. This is what is happening to Trans-Namib. It's a runaway train. So Trans-Namib is a runaway railway company. No one is in control. But the reason why people are not in control at Trans-Namib is because of interference. You find a board of directors that has no clue in rail business. They are board of directors. How is it that you are a banker and you are heading the Trans-Namib board? How? You work for a bank? Trans-Namib needs experts. Now, and if you want to deal with the Trans-Namib, you must be ruthless. Right? Be ruthless to root out any rotten apple. Take it out. It doesn't matter who that is. Right? And the Trans-Namib right now, it doesn't need 10, 20 bosses. To do what? What are they doing? Because they've proven that in their numbers, they are spoiling the soup. That's what's happening. So why don't you whittle down to start with? The management, whittle down, cover costs, because those guys, they've got pegs that are draining the coffers. And Trans-Namib doesn't have money. Imagine that people were paid for reducing losses and not for wiping away losses. They were paid for reducing losses. or rather they paid themselves for reducing losses. It remained a loss. They didn't wipe it off. They got paid for that. And then you are smiling and saying, why are they so? Trans-Namib issue. The issue that I'm talking about here is that while the bosses were busy paying themselves, Trans-Namib couldn't transfer pension money to the administrator. And this has been happening since May 2021. Now, pensioners who worked for Trans-Namib, some of them more diligent than the ones who are there now, so haven't been paid. Now they've gone to court. They want Trans-Namib to pay. Now the case number is CR18301-2022, and it's a fraud case that they've opened with the police. They want the police to investigate why Trans-Namib hasn't paid over to the pension administrator the money that they are supposed to get. Right? No, these are workers. They could still be there. I am quite sure. But the pension is being deducted. But the money hasn't been paid over since May 2021. What is happening? And you get a company that will pay 3 bosses 175,000 each. 3 bosses, not for turning over the company to be profitable. No. But for reducing losses. It's a loss still. And here, the money that people who will retire from Trans-Namib, the money that they are supposed to go and live on, it hasn't been paid since from May 2021. And this is 2023. Imagine how cruel we can be to our people. All right, so let me move on. There is most of you have heard about Pablo Escobar, right? You've heard about him, Pablo Escobar, right? He was one of those guys who, because I've watched quite a number of documentaries about him. At a tender age, he would tell people that I'll be a millionaire before I turn 20. And he became one before he came 20. He became a millionaire. He was a drug dealer. Now, Pablo survived because of what was known as plata or plomo. Now, if you say plata or plomo, you are saying silver, which is bribes, or lead, which is bullets. So either he would bribe you, and if you refuse his bribe, you get a silver, which is a bullet. It's plata or plomo. That is exactly how he survived. Now, the same plata or plomo approach strategy is playing out in Erongo region right now. Because the story I have here says that the Erongo police say drug lords are allegedly bribing community members with monthly food parcels to keep quiet about their illegal activities. This was said by Erongo Community Affairs Unit Commander Inspector Elaine Shapumba, who said that drug dealers use this method to prevent community members from sharing information with the police. Now, according to Shapumba, this has created increased support of drug dealers in communities. And he said it is such a reckless position our community members are taking. Do you know the impact of drugs and what it can do to society? Why are you accepting food from drug dealers and then you keep silent about it? Yet you want us to fight drugs. It's very simple, Inspector. People are hungry, so they accept food. I need to share with you, both Inspector Shapumba, about Pablo. Pablo built schools, right, for poor communities. Pablo built hospitals for poor communities. Pablo built soccer fields for poor people. And Pablo would fund education of poor kids. This is what is happening. Plata or plomo. Simple. So, the bigger picture here before we miss it is very, very simple here. The people are poor. People are hungry. We will say no to food. So, there must be jobs. Right? One. If you give people jobs and they don't need help from anyone. They won't receive these packets. They won't take them. They will actually tell the drug dealers that kick it. But they are accepting them because they are poor. And the drug dealers, they know this. And the other time I was asking here, the small Nyana people who are being arrested with what? Small quantities, right? And at one time, there is a man who was killed, right, by a person whom he had welcomed into his home. That is at the cost. And then the killer stole the man's car, and he went to surrender that car to a drug dealer in exchange for drugs. What did the police do? They went to recover the car. They left the drug dealer. So can we honestly here, if we want to be honest, Inspector Shapumba, can we be honest to say, you guys, you didn't know that the car had been surrendered to the drug dealer? Why didn't you question the drug dealer then? So it's either or here, plata or plomo. It's either or, plata or plomo. That is exactly what it is. We can blame the communities, which for me, they've been caught up in unfortunate circumstances. They want food. What can they do? Right? You can't turn away someone who has brought a trolley full of groceries, and your kid is looking at you and say, Papa, I'm hungry. How can you do that? Plata or plomo, right? That is either bribe or bullet. That's it. And they live in fear as well. You don't snitch. Because if you snitch, you get stitches. So what do you want them to do? And I would suggest that the police must start looking among themselves. There are also officers who might be getting something from these drug dealers in exchange for tips and for the information to be buried. You can't hide that. Both the police and the community, all of us, we are hungry. That's it. So you cannot say it's the community. It's a national issue. It's a town issue, a council issue. It's an urban issue. It's everybody's issue. So if we single out the community cannot arrest anyone. And I don't believe that the police at the coast do not know who the drug dealers they are. Aye, so what are you doing? I don't believe that. Not me. Not one to believe in such things. You guys, you know who the drug dealers are. Deal with them. All right, in 2015, there was an announcement that education was free. That is for primary. It was free. And there was joy. Everybody was happy when education was declared free. Free education. Everybody was happy. But then, 3 years down the line, the budget was reduced. So how do you declare free education? That would have meant you want more money, right? And then you go on and you reduce the budget. So the gap that you were creating, it was going to be filled by who? Because once you stand up and tell parents that education is free, parents will clap hands, then they forget about it. Or what they do is go and buy uniforms for their kids, and those who can get food, then they get food and then go to school. But the budget was reduced. And it was clear that it wasn't going to be enough. So these are the cuts according to the story that I have here. Stationery, the budget for stationery was reduced by 17 million. Textbooks, the budget was reduced by 69 million. And utility costs, the budget was reduced by 425 million. In actual fact, 425 million was spent on utility costs. This was not a reduction. It was expenditure, 425 million on utility costs. And then you wonder, if honestly people were thinking, you wonder how did this work? Because the story says, according to recent ministry statistics, the textbook budget for grades 10 and 11 dropped from 69 million to 58.8 million in 2019 and 2020 in all 14 regions. Now, in 2018, the ministry spent 127.8 million on textbooks for grades 10 and 11. So this is for grades 10 and 11. Whatever the case, the budget was reduced. Whether it was for grade 10 or 11, but get this, the budget was reduced. Therefore, there is someone who has to suffer and there is someone who has to pay. It's a sad, sad thing. I think we must own up if we can do some of these things. Just tell us so that people can prepare to pay fees for their kids. It's just as simple as that. Just tell the people, no, you have to pay. And people will pay instead of zigzagging. Today you are saying this, tomorrow you are saying this, the next day you are saying this, and the confusion must end. Let us not treat people like the COVID-19 experts are treating us, telling us about this, and another one will come up with this. And honestly speaking, there will be a BA1111 next, very soon. It may not be that, but something will come and you will be told you need a fifth booster. A fifth booster will deal with the BA12 or whatever. And then another one comes in, you need a sixth booster. Just tell us that you will be boosting us every month. We won't say no because we have never said no to anything. Just tell us that you will be boosting us every month. We have no issues because, well, we have already been boosted. So what difference will it make? It's the same thing. Still on education here, but I look at NASFAF. You know, NASFAF must be in the news for something better, something good, but all the time it's got nothing to do with funding kids. It's about people fighting for positions. But you know, there's this fight between NASFAF now and its former CEO, Hiliang Nwete. Now, the courts, right, after lawyer Sisana Mamanje had convinced the courts to say, look, this was illegal to suspend her or to fire her. He convinced the courts, and the courts said, no, she must go back to work. Now, NASFAF also said, no, she's not welcome here. She's not coming here. We don't want her here. So that fight continues. Now, who is paying for these cases? Lawyers and the staff. Isn't that money that is supposed to fund the poor out there? But the story says the High Court will this week hear an appeal by the Namibia Students Financial Assistance Fund against the reinstatement of its former CEO, Hiliang Nwete. But you see, they are fighting it. But who is going to pay for these costs? Isn't it money that's supposed to? And look, this war fight here is for power, control. Someone wants to control, and there's a lot of money here. Like I always say, how can you be paid 150,000 for distributing school fees? Money that you didn't work for, money that you are not generating, and you are being paid 150,000 for distributing school fees from the taxpayers. There must be something wrong there. You are, for crying out loud, distributing fees that you get from the government. And if the government doesn't give you fees, you have nothing to distribute. You also have nothing to pay yourself. So you are distributing fees and you say you want to be paid 150,000. It's not normal. It's not normal. 150,000. You have no strategy that you are coming up with. And you can't even come up with a strategy to collect money that students owe you. Nothing. And you couldn't even buy laptops when COVID-19 came. You promised and I'm not sure whether those laptops came. And then you are paid 150,000 as the NASFAF CEO for distributing fees. Therefore, if someone who is paid that kind of money for distributing fees, the waiters who serve food that they didn't cook, they must be paid more than the cooks. They must be paid. This is insane. And then you get people fighting for jobs the way they are fighting for jobs now. It's insane, unheard of. And it defeats the purpose and even logic. There's no logic in that. There's no logic. And I don't know how far they've actually gone in whittling down NASFAF to just a department. Not a department with 20 people. You know, if everything is computerized, you don't need 20 people to do what? To do what? All right, it's 3 minutes to 8. Me being me, honest as I am, I will open up the lines after the commercial break that's coming up at 8. And then I'll be sneaking in some of the stuff that I still have with me here. But you can come through to make your own contribution. 0832888401, 0832888401. You can come through. Now, the issue of abortion here is being taken out to communities out there. And there are two communities that have stood up to say abortion is not our tradition. But killing is not just a tradition. But I've got issues with that thinking as well, because tradition hasn't remained tradition. And we've got a problem. I'm not supporting abortion here because it's none of my business. What I'm saying here is we must also understand that what we used to call tradition way back is not what we call tradition today. And even those who are being selective to say, no, abortion is not part of our tradition, you know very well what you are talking about. Tradition is part of culture. And the culture, as they say, is dynamic. We are not who we were 50 years ago or 100 years ago. A lot of things have changed. So if you come and say, this is not part of our tradition and blah, blah, blah. Well, it is, yes. It is not, yes. But what is it? What is it? And so your kids are not part of your tradition because they are among those who are pushing for this. So instead of rattling about it's not part of this, it's not part of this, what is supposed to be done? What are we supposed to do? I always talk about fixing the brokenness. All this is because the support systems are not there anymore. That is exactly why when a woman gives birth alone, there is no choice. And the other day, some people didn't agree with me here when I suggested that, look, if the father walks away from their kids, they must pay for that. They must be answerable for that. And this is tradition. But we are talking of abortion not being part of our tradition, but we are not talking about fathers who leave their kids as not part of our traditions. I'll be back after this.
If we were not about you, we would not have done our best to offer you a rich portfolio of benefit options that will help you to enjoy the best healthcare at all times, from dental to critical and beyond. But we are about you, so we did. nhp.com.na. We are about you.
Speak your mind while respecting the opinions of others. How can you say Namibia was brought on a silver platter when so many people were
No, that's not what I mean. I mean on the silver platter
in terms of the infrastructure?
Of the infrastructure. You know, there were schools, there were roads, there were...
Part of the debate by setting the agenda.
To grab that victory against Ivory Coast will be a big one for us. It will be the first...
The social position to raise a child. What does that mean? Baby dumping.
Go FM lets you talk. The commander says hold fire, they hold fire. fire. When the commander says fire, they fire. We are trained to kill. We are trained to arrest people and leave them before court. Eagle FM lets you express your constitutional rights of freedom of expression without fear of failure.
That's why some of us wear unbranded clothes. Because it's about selling their product.
So talk on Eagle FM. Eagle FM, the eye.
Good morning.
Okay.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, sir.
How are you doing?
No, the morning is very good.
Yes. It's good to know.
It's very good. My brother, it's time that we leave this politics talk and talk the truth, you know?
Yeah.
I want to talk about Shapumba's statement. And my friend, I'm not agreeing with Shapumba at all. My friend, I'm living even in Rongo here, and I know this drug dealer for a long time.
Yeah.
You understand, eh? How many houses did they bribe with those food that he's claiming about? No. Police must search among themselves who are the betrayer of their mission, because we are here and we are seeing them.
Yeah.
Hanging around the same house. You know, how can the police hang at the drugs house? You understand, eh? Hiding cars and going to hang around with those guys, their friends and so on. Now they want to say communities involved. Where? It's a lie, my friend. It's not true.
Yeah.
How many houses will you bribe in the street? Eh? No, police must come out with the truth, man. And it's them. It is them that, you see, now I heard Aturguribi was found with a phone in the cell. They are blaming the people again. But when we take food to the cell there, people they search through it to make sure that there is nothing, even bread is being broken apart if it's not cut, so that they find out that there is something. Even lotion, everything is checked, my friend. Now, how can people bring again a cell in the police? Must be truthful, man.
Yeah.
Must be truthful. That statement, my friend, I will not believe it, and I'm not agreeing with it. It's a lie and it's wrong. They must search among the police. They know who is, whether it's friendship or what, I don't know. But if they want to keep the community clean and safe, then they have to open their eyes among themselves. And they have to stop politics talk and do the right job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my man.
All right, 3 minutes past 8, 083-288-401, 083-288-401. Good morning to you.
Yes, Wanda, how are you?
Don, how are you doing? You are calling me from Swakop. Let us talk about you guys who are getting food parcels from drug dealers.
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen that?
No. And we cannot face things which you don't do. Look, as the previous caller said, I haven't seen, let him identify those communities who used to receive parcels from the drug dealers.
Yeah.
Let him identify them. He's lying, to put it straight. The thing is, as the previous caller said, among themselves, they know. You see, how many informers tried to inform the police, but what happened? Nothing. You see, if he wants to counter that, let him give them also incentive to say, if you inform us about a drug dealer, you will get this. Yes, then we counter them.
So I'm moving to Erongo. I'm moving there because I'll be getting from the drug dealer and I'll be getting from
order you more, give you more, you lie to that person.
Then you keep your information until you have had enough. and then in the end you tell, I don't know anything, me. I know nothing, me.
Yes, but if you say no, the drug dealers, what about now? If the drug dealers are giving parcel, if it's true, but I haven't seen that, then let him also counter them.
All right.
Let him also give what it takes for the people to give information to the police.
All right, done.
Okay. Right. Secondly, you see this story of the Karango region, western east, where the mothers are struggling to get their maintenance money.
Yeah.
It's not only maintenance. In Karango, all the government officials, I am telling you, those people, I don't know, how can I say, man? Look, someone can come and ask a question. That person will just pretend like she can't even understand the language. Myself, I experienced that. When I got my identity, I went to Windhoek, I called, they said, no, your ID is already that side.
Yeah.
I went to the one that tell the truth. The lady was just sit and say, no, it's not yet here. I say, my friend, go and check. I say, I will not leave the office until you stand up there from where you are seated. Yeah. Otherwise, I will come.
All right.
He called the secretary and the chief came. The chief went to the, my ID wasn't there. Imagine, and some people are coming from the villages, you see, to come and clean maintenance. You send the person just like that.
Yeah.
Eh? Knowing that maybe it's 400 or 300.
Okay.
Seriously, the chief has deal with them.
All right, Don. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you can come through 083-288-401. And here is the thing. If we are still talking about the parcels, the food parcels that are being delivered to families, now the police must actually follow the delivery guy and get hold of the delivery guy and say to the delivery guy, take us to where your boss is. You are delivering these food parcels. So they are coming from where they can get them. But then the thing is, you will get them on what basis? Feeding people. It doesn't work. Good morning.
Sir, how are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
Doing very fine.
Yes.
So I just want to say, Mr. Chapumba, I think that guy is just really just promoting himself. He's trying to convince the Namibian people. Trying to convince.
No, but he's a hard worker. He works hard though. That
I understand, but in the newspaper is not working. He's really just trying to promote himself. So the police and the drug dealers are friends. Those people, they know each other.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's talking about, and he's totally lying, and he's just lying. That is totally lying. We are not stupid. We are not smoking.
But are you calling me from the coast?
No.
Okay.
I just called to contribute.
All right, I see. Because I wanted to ask you whether you have seen any food parcels being bundled around.
Yeah, but if you think like a big person, you can define the true and the lies.
All right, I see.
So there you can see we are not in the kindergarten.
I see. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, there we are. 8 minutes past 8. 083-288-401. 083-288-401. The drug issue must be dealt with. That's a very terrible. And I've spoken quite often here to say, look, there are things that were brought to us. Alcohol, religion. Religion is a beautiful thing. Don't misquote me, but we are misusing it. And everything kills. Religion kills mentally, psychologically. Anything that is good also kills. Making love kills you as well if you overdo it. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Wanda. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Fine.
Yes.
Let me start with the drugs. The police, they know where the drugs are being sold.
Yeah.
And you see, they are always having their informers. Those informers, they know. And some of the police officers, they are maybe on the payroll of the drug dealers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the problem is. How can you allow to arrest your boss? Is it possible to arrest your boss? It's impossible. Yeah, and when it comes to Kavango, I'm also in Kavango.
Yeah.
The problem of Kavango, we don't like each other. That's the straightforward.
Who doesn't like who?
We don't like each other when it's coming. If you want somebody coming to the office, why can't you? Because if you're having a problem, you call even the supervisor.
Yeah.
He'll tell you, maybe you can come next week. What is happening today? What are you going to do today?
But my question here is, who doesn't like who?
Our people, ourselves. Because if ourselves, we like each other, we would help each other. But if we don't like each other, we don't help each other. That's how it is.
Now, what could be the reason why people they don't like each other? What is it?
The reason I don't know the reason, because you see, Congo is a terrorist region, and most of the people you find that they don't have documents. Documents. And you ask even the people are there. Maybe you are saying other people are there from the other regions. Then you say they are the one. But you find the people are there, they are the same from the same region. But even the person is coming the letter from admin or from the chief, but still denied, he will be denied. I remember one day when the minister, our own minister, saying, "Oh, we are having people from Angola."
Yeah.
We are living in the borders. We don't deny that. you find the people from this side, the other side. But if the person is coming, whom do you want to give you the right information? If it's not the headman or the chief, if you are denying those information, who else do you want to give you the right information?
Indeed.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the problem we are having.
All right. Said to know that.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. 11 minutes past 8, 0832888401, 0832888401. And of course, you can listen to us on radio frequency, or you can tune in on our website, which is www.eaglefm.com.na, or you can get our app, or now you can see us live streaming, and then you see how ugly we are. But we like it. We do it that way. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, and are you?
No, I can't complain. It's a good day, Monday after all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, that is.
Mm.
Do you have some topic there? Or can I put in any kind of contribution?
Let me hear you first.
Yes, my brother. Oh, man. See, the poverty is around here in Namibia. And inequalities and the system of bourgeoisie, which is still going on, and the gap between the rich and poor. It was people, they were saying that we have at least to put, bring the balance, at least to empower the people to toward the development and the material possession of wealthness. But the greediness still going on.
Yeah.
So we don't know how can we restore this to put in the balance, because as you can see, embezzlement of economy, natural resource is for those people of the leadership of politics.
Yeah.
And therefore now this is a complaint that really you can see. Whenever you can see, even in the institution of like a local authority, municipality and whatsoever, corruption of nepotism, favoritism of employment is there. I'm calling from a Rongo region, in Swakop region, Swakop town.
All right.
So my brother, this is not only all it is in a Rongo region, but in all countrywide. You see, now the problem is that the youngster which we're coming now, we see what the system people are. Now the people, every person what we want, they want only to embezzling. This is to be a culture of the rulings, so that all the person taking over any position, what is first and priority, they have embezzlement or gripping or eating people's money without not contributing to the nation according to the principle of the Constitution.
Yeah. All right.
You see, what is also I don't feeling good here is now we used to, wherever we have been celebrating, even I can say it, the Hero Days, Independence, we're having to say it, let's having a moment of silence of 5 minutes or 6 minutes. Now let's be to respecting those who are contributing toward our independence, revelation I'm talking about.
Yeah.
My brother, we're having people who sacrifice this country, who's been buried in unmarked graves, which has been buried in all his disappear in the rivers, the rivers, the Kunene River.
All right. Hello. Can you just hold on there for me? We are going for a commercial break. Then you can vent for another minute after the commercial break.
Okay, let me hold.
There's no such thing as destiny or fate. There's only potential and what you choose to do with it. We chose to show up. We chose to put in the work. We chose to unlimit our potential. And tomorrow, we will continue to show up, to put in the work, because limiting our potential is not an option.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Okay, well, see, one you can remember the people who sacrificed internal and external the time of revolutions of our mothering, Namibia. So now, you see, if you can see it, moment of silence.
Yeah.
And those people come out from the grave and see and witnessing this, what's going on here, what should be? My friend, this is only unhuman. the people, they are treating people like nobody. We having the kind of moment for those people who sacrifice for this country, but the people, they are failing to restore the order and according to the principle of people who are sacrificing for this country. So the thing is that, can we check? Look, where are their, you see, where are their children now? The government failed to answering the children which are just roaming around there. Their father died in the battle. Their father disappeared. Their father, my friend, their mother been tortured and killed and so in unknown manner by the regime of the time. I don't want to violating the policy of national reconciliation, but we're talking the things which we've been seeing in the face. The president, 2, 3 presidents, former president and former Tohamba and the former president and Genko, they must at least sort of this, because really, if you can see, it's painful, man. If you go to see children in the the children are just being worked. This is a small number of the people. Children must be taking people. They must take this responsibility. It is a shame to having a silent of movement to remember those sacrifices for this country. They must be restored. They must at least find the solution. It's painful. They must not thinking of greedy or there's something to having only the self-enrichment and so unfair things which is going on. Come on, people, let's stand up together. Let's come up with reality.
Thank you so much.
Yes, painful, really.
Thank you so much for coming through.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Then that's it. What he's talking about sums up all the problems that we are talking about here. They stem from being greedy, insensitive, indifferent. He has summed it up. If we want to solve all the issues that we have, we need to go to the root causes. But we don't have time to do that. We would rather deal with the symptoms, but the root cause we don't get down to say this is what we must deal with first. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Banda.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good.
Yes, that's good to know.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm ready to point to it. Just before I raise my point, I just want to find out who really read your WhatsApp messages or whatever.
I can't give you a name right now, but we've got 2 people whom we have assigned to do that.
Okay.
Yes.
I thank you and Kevin there, but nothing I have read about you and so on. Even to say I got that information.
All right. When did you send it through?
I think it's 3 times now. It was.
Is it today?
No, today I did not. But I think one it was last year, but the other one is this year now at the beginning here when you come back from the holiday.
All right. And what was it about, if I may ask that? I need to check.
Okay, I will just raise it now. For now.
Yeah.
The first one, I go for the NBC.
No. Before you go to the next one, because this is operational and it concerns us greatly, it will affect us. Now, do you have my number there?
No, I don't have your number. I could have just forwarded.
All right. I'll give you my number if you've got a pen right now.
No, I don't have a pen now. I know. Yeah. But anyway, I'm just saying it now.
All right.
For now.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Because the message that I said is just the one that I'm going to say now.
All right. Okay.
The first is all about NBC.
NBC.
Maybe you can just get us any person from NBC. You know, NTC, when it comes to the lost phone, it took a lot of ways, different ways for you to get when you are doing the search warrant, and what we call is a search warrant from police. You know what, me? If my phone has been stolen, when I have to go to the police, then they say the police, you only open this and you go. Once you open the case, that case should have to send to Bindu. And then you have to wait again, maybe for 2 months again for the magistrate in Bindu to sign and send it to NTC, IT happening in what? I think it's somewhere behind Unam
Okay.
somewhere. And then it will take some time to find out who is using that phone and so on and so on. And sometimes it took up to 6 months. Maybe my suggestion was, why can't you just, if you lock your phone and you have your box and you have a receipt and so on, why don't they say, just once you go to the police, then you go to the police, they go and you take to the nearest magistrate to sign it, then they directly maybe you can use the branches for MTC to take it to what? To the IT department.
Okay.
Yeah, what makes them not to take it's always just it's a very difficult again from other regions to go and take those search warrant to magistrate. Why?
All right.
I know I am having my box, I am having my receipt and so on. The phone is belong to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was just stolen or whatever.
All right. So let me do it like this. I wish you had somewhere to write. But can you send this message again on the WhatsApp group, and I will check personally.
Yeah, okay, I will listen to it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, the other one is maybe what comes again because we have platforms in education.
Mm-hmm.
But in education, there are some unfair labor practices, like when it comes to some of administration, like running examination.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of us we have been appointed as head of examination now for grade 11, even grade 10, a long way back, and then grade 11 and 12.
Yeah.
And unlabor practice that I'm talking about is only that, when you are having a part-time people, in a lot of examination centers, who's running that one, they are paid for, they are remunerated for.
Yeah.
But those who are full-time, they are not even remunerated at all. And then it's a lot of examination. You have to spend the whole day every time because candidates are writing basically down in a day. And if you make a mistake, they will come to you as if you are paid for that. They will come and give you a warning and so on and so on.
But why would you be making a mistake? I know mistakes are common, but is it you have made a mistake because of carelessness, or it's a genuine mistake?
Yeah, sometimes when like you see, I just started, I did not make a mistake, but there are those people who are issued. These things, there's a lot of reading. I know there's a lot of secular vetting. If someone will maybe write in that interpreted, English just like that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right.
Once you follow, they say you did not follow, you're in the red book. The red book is something like now, it's a dictionary, you have a red book. And why didn't you go to the red book and the right? But you are even also, they will not even give you reduce your the teaching level, you are still just a simple teacher like the other teacher, and then you have to deal with administer the examination, administration or
okay.
It's very careful and also exhausting and so on like this. Now when people are just writing when examining
thank you so much.
Maybe the community is supposed to create that first. Or even if it's not for immediate because maybe you can reduce if a person has been appointed as an examination head, maybe they can also give person that maybe that a particular person must be already a certain percentage to reduce that. You must only deal with the examination and this one, not to just full road of people road.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much for coming through.
You are welcome.
All right then. There we are. 083 288 401 083 288